Welcome to MMA Fancast. My name is Luke Pace, and welcome back to everyone who is already a subscriber to the MMA channel. If you're not already a subscriber on YouTube to MMA Fancast, please subscribe so you can see more great interviews, including the one coming at you right now. Very excited to have back on the show an amateur MMA fighter with a record of 2 wins, 1 loss, 25 years young, fighting out of REAKT MMA, fresh off a decision win for 247 Fighting Championships 247 MMA at the venue number 5 that went down on March 14th. It's Hunter Martz. Hunter, welcome back.
Thank you for having me back.
It is great to have you back on the show. Like I said in the intro, you're fresh off a decision win about 2 weeks ago now from 247. But before we get there, I know we tried to get this in before. I know you recently took a trip out, I believe, to Iowa because of wrestling nationals. I don't think you were competing. I think you were there in some other capacity. Fill us in a little bit about your trip. What capacity took you out? Was it Division I, Division II, Division III as a coach, or in some other capacity? And how was that for you?
It was actually in Cleveland, but
Cleveland.
so I went out with some college friends.
Oh, that's
They
right.
had a connection to Virginia Tech, so we got some tickets for there. And it was a fun weekend.
Oh, good. You went as a fan. You went out. Yes, my brain is
Yeah.
stuck. It was in Iowa years ago, and I always think it's in Iowa, but it was at Cleveland. Shout out to a 247 alum who hopefully will be back fighting for 247. Caden Cassidy was there representing George Mason University. I remember him saying that he was going to Cleveland. So uh, congratulations to Caden on a great career at George Mason, and I believe he might be coming back to MMA in the future. To you, what was the highlight? Were you there to root on Penn State, who became a team champ and has won 13 of the last 15, or were you there for a certain reason or just to support wrestling?
I am a Penn State fan, but honestly, the older I get, I just like to see good wrestling. So, I mean, the highlight for me was definitely those young guys from Oklahoma State. They put on a show for sure. It was very
Wow,
cool to see.
great. Okay, so even though you're a Penn State fan, you kind of were impressed by the talent out of Oklahoma. That's wonderful. I mean, yeah, there's so much talent out there. It's great to see it overall, which is wonderful. I live in Waynesburg, which um, the main high school in Waynesburg is Waynesburg Central, and Rocco Welsh finished second. He was in the national championship, so it was at 184. So it was great. I didn't know him, but the high school's probably 3-4 miles from here, and I'm there almost every day in track season because Waynesburg University doesn't have a track, so we share Waynesburg Central. So it makes me feel very close to that high school program that's well known. I think Waynesburg Central had 4 or 5 former, alum make it to nationals. I think Rocco went the furthest, but it was always really cool to see. Great to remind us how strong Western Pennsylvania really is in wrestling. But okay, that brings us back to you. Thanks for fitting me in as soon as you got back from Cleveland, or as some people call it, the mistake by the lake. But I actually think the setup of Cleveland on the lake, I was there many years ago in the summertime, is actually quite pretty, despite the fact that I'm a Pittsburgh fan. But okay, jump into the fact that before you walked into the cage, this was a pretty on paper even fight. You had a 1-1 record fighting Evan Heaps, who had a 1-1 record as well. So somebody was going to bump up to 2-1 and be able to fight advanced amateur, which is a big deal that allows particularly wrestlers, anyone that wants to have ground and pound, to be able to use ground and pound the next fight. And so what was your thoughts on the matchup, and what was your thoughts? We had you on before, but what was your thought as far as your confidence that you were going to get this win and that you were going to move to 2-1, and then let's break down the first round of the fight itself.
Um, so we knew he was going to be a tough matchup, like obviously, and like he's a good kickboxer. Like his kickboxing fight, we watched it a few times. He did really well. He throws hard, so I mean, we had to prepare a lot for him, but I knew like my wrestling was
Yeah,
pretty solid. Um, I knew if I could get under his punches and get him to the ground, it was kind of my world down there. So I felt I felt confident. That was the first time being in the cage that I actually felt myself and
okay,
felt like in the moment, like not not blacking out, not getting lost in the crowd, stuff like that.
sure. Well, and on that mindset a little bit, do you was there what do you attribute that too? Was it because it's your third fight, you're kind of settling in? Was it something you've learned from previous fights? Or was it something you're training in practice? I know sometimes in practice when they're sparring, they try to make it feel more like a crowd, make it feel a little bit more intense. Well, what do you contribute the fact that what do you attribute the fact that things were kind of more focused and you felt like yourself in there in your third fight?
It was a combination of things. One was definitely experience. Another, my coach, Jason Frawley. As soon as I got to the arena, I was nervous. You could tell. I was just went quiet, got nervous. Like the first hour I was there, but then he talked me through it all and really got me calmed down and feeling good during warm ups. And I felt amazing, ready to go. But another thing that helped was just my sparring partners. Like the whole camp, I was thinking if I can spar with these guys, nothing in a cage is going to be too much for me.
Well, that's an incredible attitude. Great shout out to your coach. That's also kind of that balance of it's good when you have energy coming into fight, but energy management and the fact that nerves, understandably, but nerves can sap energy. You're starting to figure this thing out on your third amateur fight. React had a great night. Evan Furlong, who I had on the show, I really like Evan. Evan Furlong advanced to 3-1. You won, and there might have been another. Was it just the two of you?
Yeah, it was just the two of
Okay.
us. We had
So
two on the previous card, but it was just us two.
well, that's great. I mean, as a team, you went 2-0. You both are great wrestlers who are also learning to be very good in MMA. A little congratulations to your dance partner, as they say, Evan, 19 years old. I didn't realize he was that young. Obviously, a great kid. We wish him the best. He came all the way up from North or South Carolina, one of the Carolinas. So his team and obviously he are willing to travel, and that looks good for their program. You know, their comfortability to come in to enemy territory. Obviously, take on you, who's a tough matchup. What do you remember from the first round? How do you think that went for you?
It went exactly how I wanted it to. Like I got to his legs, took him down. He did get up. I lost control for a little bit, then hit a nice outside trip and got him back down. And I, I, I don't know if it was the first or second where I got the mount, but that's when I started to feel really comfortable out there, like, and started to think through everything and felt good.
Okay, it was either the first or the second. Um, Coming into the second round, from what you can remember, uh, because you had already kind of figured out you took him down, he had gotten back up, you took him down again. Um, was that kind of a building confidence, or do you remember that in the third round that you were starting to get confident that this game plan was working?
The second round, I felt really
Yeah.
confident. Like, I knew if I didn't step into any of his big shots, I'd be fine. So, just stuck to the game plan there.
Well, even that right there, not only is that great feedback from you, appreciate it for your insight, but also I always try to be helpful in pointing out things that might be good for up and coming MMA fighters who are either interested in learning or early in their career. Timing and movement, right? Like you said, it's great as a wrestler to be able to push the pace. I know you want to bring that in MMA, but sometimes wrestlers have to figure out that timing. Like you said, you don't want to walk into any of his big shots. It's about figuring out the shot just like you would in wrestling, but a little bit different because of the strikes. Was there any aspect, because you're a wrestler who's learning striking, obviously looked good, and you always want to take advantage of mismatches as far as skill level. Was there anything that you really feel good about now, like navigating around the jab or dealing with kicks, or is there any part of dealing with striking that you feel like you're kind of leveling up as far as that goes?
I felt like my defense was definitely better this
defense.
fight than any of the other ones. Like I didn't get hit hard at once, so that really gives me confidence that to start working my striking into it. Then, if I have solid defense, and then I can wrestle from there. So just start to chain it all together now.
Oh yeah, that's incredible. That's great. Defense, just like good timing, defense can take a while to develop. You can spar it all. I always like to say when I was a coach that you might retain 20% of what you're able to do in training, and that also goes for wrestling. But you have to do it enough that what you can bring into a fight keeps growing, right? So if every fight you're able to bring in more from training, a lot of times, win or lose, fighters will say, "Oh, I had a lot more that I've been able to figure out in training, but it's a matter of bringing it in." I've already kind of teased the fact that at 2-1 you can now do advanced amateur. What are you What are you looking forward to challenge wise? What are you looking forward to opportunity wise? Longer rounds, 3 minutes. No shin guards. It's going to look and feel a lot more pro. For a lot of people, it looks pro because of no shin guards. That can also depend on how you block things because the shin is potentially more sensitive now that it doesn't have shin guards. There's still no knees to the face, elbows to the face, or kicks to the face, but on the ground, punches without elbows are allowed. So, what aspect of advanced amateur are you most excited to kind of level up to next fight?
Like you said, the rounds being longer, I'm excited for that. It gives you more time to work. Like I feel like our team stays in really good shape, so that I feel like that's just an advantage for us, honestly. The ground and pound I'm definitely looking forward to the head. Like that's a that's a great for a wrestler, so
Yeah.
that's gonna be an advantage, I think so.
Well, and I remember your fight. I remember, you won by decision and you did a good job to the best of your ability given the rule sets. I know sometimes people complain, but obviously you've been a lifelong wrestler. You've got to win within the rule sets, just like wrestling, just like anything. And so you did a great
Yeah.
job staying busy, staying active on the ground, even though you couldn't punch to his head. You're allowed to punch elbow or knee below the clavicle. You did a good job staying busy there. Obviously, to your point, it would make sense that having good ground and pound, which I'm not going to give him entire credit. I would like to. Randy, the Natural Couture, just an incredible guy. Obviously, wrestling background, boxing in the Army, a veteran, a multiple-time world champ at both light heavyweight and heavyweight. But he was the first person I remember really trying to win by ground and pound, trying to get the takedown, and then punch the head on the ground. Obviously, that's going back almost 20 years now, but is there a style of current UFC either champ or known fighter that you kind of like to emulate that has a good wrestling base, well rounded, but also is kind of has some aspect that you really appreciate?
I wouldn't say there's anybody particular. I mean, I do like Charles Oliveira's style.
Sure.
Like he does go ground and pound to get him to flash their back, try to get then he hunts for subs. So I mean, I wouldn't say I want to be completely like him, but I do like his style.
Well, I mean, that's great. Just like I always like to ask that question. Thank you for answering it. Because you're going to develop your own style. One day somebody might be saying, "Oh, I really like Hunter, Hunter Martz style." But what's cool about wrestling, I got to watch not live, but I was watching it on YouTube. They had a lot of the big uh, NCAA put a lot of them up, unedited, just full, which was great. I've been watching it over the last couple of days. Um, but one of the things that's interesting about wrestling, which is such a great foundation for MMA, is there's different styles within wrestling, right? There's different styles within MMA. There's different styles within boxing, and so I think what's cool is you're figuring out what's going to work for you. And some styles work great for certain people. Some styles don't work great for other people. So I'm super pumped. Here's the timing question. Are you and your team, we talked about Evan Furlong, are you looking for 2 or 3 more fights this year, kind of trying to fight every few months? Or is there a time period where you're going to kind of not take a fight so that you can, I don't know if it's coaching or doing something else? Is there any off season where you kind of don't focus on MMA, or are you training and looking to fight MMA year round?
Um, Pretty much whenever we're healthy, I feel
Okay.
like we're always looking for a fight. I mean, life gets busy, so
Sure.
you got to plan around that a little bit. But other than that, if we're healthy, I think we're always looking for a fight.
Well, and congratulations not only to you on your win and Everett Furlong on your win, but I know React Gym's been around, but I've seen it growing more and more. As far as you mentioned, the previous card, you had two fighters on it, then this two, and I always try to pay attention to the gyms that are showing up more and more on the card. And obviously, React is really making an impact on 247, which is just wonderful. You know, to see gyms that are able to kind of bring up fighters into the regional scene. So just fantastic. I'll ask a little bit of a leading question, completely okay if you don't really have anybody to throw out. But is there anybody in the gym that is in React that is at some point looking to make an MMA debut that you're excited about? Anybody that kind of hasn't fought yet, or maybe is transitioning from wrestling to jiu-jitsu or kickboxing that you're looking forward to kind of their debut? Is there anybody like that?
We have this one guy. He's a bigger guy, Hudson Cannon. He's
Okay,
been working hard the last couple years with us, so
nice.
I think he's looking for a kickbox fight soon, or maybe an MMA. But he's been working really hard, making big jumps. So I'm
That's
excited to see him in the cage.
Well, I appreciate that. I always ask that because sometimes the fighters I end up interviewing down the road are fighters that some of their teammates shouted out 6 months, a year before. So that's kind of been something that I've enjoyed doing over the last several years because I can see teams that are developing. So shout out to him putting the hard work in and, eventually getting to the point being able to fight. Well, I really appreciate you taking time. Thanks for filling us in a little bit on your experience being a fan at the NCAA wrestling championships this weekend, and I appreciate you breaking down your most recent win. Very excited to have had Hunter Martz on the show. Victorious 247 fighting championships, 247 MMA at the venue 5. Thanks so much, Hunter, for coming on the show. This has been Luke Basin with MMA Fancast. Have a great night.
Thanks, you too. Thanks for having me.
You got it, brother. Thank you.